They didn't just trespass on my land. They ripped a trench straight through my grandfather's grave to build their luxury golf course pipeline. Dawn light caught the raw dirt scar slicing across the wildflower meadow, diesel fumes mixing with the sharp scent of torn sagebrush roots. That bronze plaque bearing Grandpa Thaddeus's name lay crushed flat in the dirt pile like a discarded beer can. When I confronted the HOA president, Vivian Straude, she didn't even look up from her phone. Acrylic nails clicked sharply on the screen as she dismissed me. We followed every legal channel, darling. I told her she'd desecrated a burial site. She laughed, short and sharp. Show me a death certificate. Ashes aren't legally interred. That was her fatal mistake. I'd spent 15 years dissecting water contracts as a paralegal in Denver District Court. Out here in Wyoming, whoever controls the water writes the rules. 3 months later, I owned the creek feeding her entire gated community. Eminent domain works both ways. My name is Marlo Coltrane. Call me Marley. 3 years ago, I inherited 240 acres of high desert rangeland in Fremont County that my grandfather homesteaded in 1948. Thaddeus returned from the war with a duffel bag and a land grant, building the house, barn, and that 1952 windmill that still creaks in the breeze from nothing. 1/4 Shoshone. He knew this land the way some people know music, where springs run underground, which pastures flood in April, where the soil remembers old buffalo trails. He taught me to read survey maps at his kitchen table when I was 9, the air thick with burnt coffee, his calloused finger tracing property lines. Land doesn't lie, Marley. People do. When he died in 2019, I scattered his ashes in our southeast pasture near a cottonwood grove. No formal burial, just me, the wind, and meadowlarks at sunrise. After 15 years in Denver, good career, bad marriage, I was divorced, 49, and pretty broken. I sold my practice, cashed out my 401k, and came home to rehabilitate the ranch. Rotational grazing, native grass restoration, a small beef CSA. Land heals you if you let it. Then Ridgemont Estates happened. Spring 2023. Walking fence line, I spotted orange survey stakes marching straight through Thaddeus's grove, every 50 feet like a line of small fires. No warning, no letter. At the county clerk's office, I learned Ridgemont had filed for private condemnation 6 weeks earlier, sending the certified letter to a P.O. box I'd closed in 2021. Classic move. Ridgemont is a 2,200-home gated community built 3 miles east on former Bell M land. Artificial lake, 18-hole golf course, McMansion starting at $850,000 in a high desert that gets 12 inches of rain a year. Their golf course alone uses more water than 40 family ranches combined, pulling from Clearstone Reservoir, a public project built in 1963 for agricultural irrigation. Now, they wanted a dedicated pipeline to expand their clubhouse, routed straight through my land via an obscure Wyoming statute, allowing HOAs to claim easements if no economically viable alternative exists. Garbage. They could have run along county road for an extra $200,000, but that would require negotiating instead of steamrolling. Vivian Straude, 61, retired pharma VP, drove a white Lexus with a vanity plate that poured arrogance over barbed wire. When I found their construction schedule posted in the marble-lobbied clubhouse, pipeline start date Monday, May 8th, I had 3 days. I tried talking to her. You saw how that went. Friday evening, I walked to the Cottonwood Grove. They'd already staked orange construction fence around 2 acres of wildflowers, the survey line cutting right through where I'd scattered Thaddeus's ashes. Cottonwood leaves rustled papery, sounding like him shuffling maps. I sat in the dirt and let myself cry for 5 minutes. Then I called Hector Ruiz, my old Denver colleague specializing in water law, for an emergency injunction by Monday, because Vivian had miscalculated. She assumed I'd roll over. One woman against an HOA with a 3-attorney firm from Jackson Hole. What she didn't know, I'd spent 15 years finding loopholes in water contract for people smarter than her. Wyoming water law has more trapdoors than a haunted house. That weekend blurred into coffee and legal documents. Hector filed the TRO Sunday afternoon, citing improper service in NAGPRA, Native American Graves Protection Act. If Thaddeus's Shoshone heritage qualified, federal law could trump state condemnation. I dug through attic boxes at 3, moths battering the screen, coyotes yipping, finding his Pine Ridge enrollment, 1948 land patent, Anzio discharge papers. Monday hearing. Judge Vernon Kemp, fourth-generation rancher who hated corporate overreach, seemed sympathetic. But Vivian's team brought affidavits, no marked graves in GIS, anthropologists saying Pine Ridge enrollment irrelevant in eastern Shoshone territory. Then the kill shot. Excavation started Friday evening before the TRO. Technically legal, morally bankrupt. TRO denied. Ridgemont to hire a third-party archaeologist. I could appeal with a $75,000 bond one didn't have. Vivian smiled tight and victorious in the hallway, heels clicking. Home. The backhoe sat parked on cottonwood roots, 10-foot trench gaping like an open wound. The foreman handed me Thaddeus's bent, mud-caked plaque. First scoop. I'm sorry. Got orders. Sitting in my truck holding the broken plaque, hands shaking, I noticed the survey map on my mailbox. Water source Clearstone Reservoir, U.S. Bureau of Reclamation Supply, managed by Fremont Watershed District. Ridgemont didn't own the water. They had allocated rights via public board, meaning contracts, renewals, public records. In county records, buried in a 1987 bylaw amendment, never digitized, yellowed paper in a filing cabinet, any private entity using over 500 acre-feet annually must renegotiate every 10 years or demonstrate 15% conservation infrastructure. Ridgemont's golf course used 620 acre-feet per their 2020 environmental statement. Last renegotiation, 2014, 10 years overdue. In Western water law, failing to renew is like forgetting your car registration, except the penalty is losing your legal right entirely. The Watershed District could void it with one vote. Vivian struck back 48 hours later. Every Ridgemont homeowner, 2,200 families, woke to an email. Local rancher threatens your water access, painting me as selfish, obstructionist, endangering children. Phone lit with block numbers, voicemails calling me entitled. One breathed heavy. Watch your back. Reported to sheriff. Notes taken. Nothing happened. Thursday grocery store. Woman in yoga pants with Ridgemont logo blocked my cart, yelling my water bill rose 40% because of me, 3 kids, family suffering. Manager escorted her out. That night, 40 feet of fence cut with bolt cutters. 16 cattle wandered on a county road 12. For hours rounding up, $1,200 a pound. Timing screamed Ridgemont. Vivian's attorneys filed $250,000 counterclaim for construction delays. $18,000/day for my TRO. Slap suit to drain me. Savings, $22,000, needed for fence, fees, ranch survival. Sleepless 2 a.m. Research uncovered Clearstone's 1963 master plan. 60% agriculture, 30% municipal, 10% private domestic. Ridgemont's 620 acre-feet dwarfed other private users. FOIA brought 4,000 pages. Highlighter ran dry, finding the 1987 bylaw in meeting minutes. Better, Fremont Watershed Board. 7 members, 6 ranchers/small-town officials. 7th, Dalton Straude, feed store owner, elected 2021. Meeting minutes. Every Ridgemont vote, yes. No disclosure. Vivian was his sister. Ethics rules ironclad. Undisclosed family ties void votes. Trigger state investigation. Freeze allocations. Call Hector at 11 p.m. Vivian's brother on the board. Never disclosed. Grounds for complaint to engineer's office. Audit every decision. Freeze pending allocations. During investigation, Ridgemont could lose water entirely. Draft a complaint to Hurt. Needed allies. Hydrologist Iris Pendleton, retired, fought 1990s disputes. You had me at stealing public water. Reporter Terrell Booker, Casper Star-Tribune. Framed as systemic theft for luxury while ranches dry. Cattlemen's Association. Ranchers shared stories of tax reassessments after refusing Ridgemont offers. Found senior water rights, 1904 priority, to Antler Creek, 35% of Clearstone inflow. For sale from LLC, $80,000. Bought via GoFundMe, $41,000. Cattle sale, 25 head, gutting herd, rancher donations. Senior rights trump juniors in drought. I could legally reduce Ridgemont to trickle. Strategy. File claim demonstrating beneficial use. Ecosystem restoration. Drought reserve. Purchase rights. File ethics complaint. Media time for pressure. Arson hit hay barn August 16th. Accelerant $60,000 loss. Trail cams caught plateless SUV. Vivian indicted later via contractor confession. Watershed meeting August 25th. Packed room. Exposed detonated. Dalton resigned. Allocation suspended pending $1. 2M reclamation. My senior rights approved. Vivian stormed out. Middle finger caught on camera. Fallout. Bond default threat. Vivian resigned / indicted. Special assessments. Reclamation installed. Gray water. Native prairie. Community reconciled. Ridgemont volunteers rebuilt barn. Tribal partnership on Antler Creek. Scholarship fund. Water Heritage Festival. Thaddeus's Memorial. Bronze plaque on River Stone. Wildflowers planted by tribal youth and Ridgemont volunteers. Inscription. He taught us water flows where it's needed most. May morning in the Cottonwood Grove. Meadowlarks singing again. Pipeline hums with reclaimed water now. Scout huffs for breakfast. I kneel, touch warm bronze. We did it, Grandpa. We changed something. The wind picks up. Cottonwood leaves rustle like survey maps. Downstream, water flows to ranches, fish, land that remembers. Vivian thought she could bury the past. The land remembers everything, and so do the people who love it. I didn't win because I was smarter or richer. I won because I had something worth fighting for, people to fight alongside, and knew the rules better than those who thought they owned them. Water doesn't lie. Justice flows when you're patient. Drop a comment with your worst HOA nightmare. Petty tyrants, mysterious fees, rules that only apply to you. The more we share, the harder it is for people like Vivian to hide. Subscribe for next week's story. Small-town librarian using an 1870s mining claim to shut down a Bitcoin operation stealing county electricity. Blackmail, town hall fistfight, century-old land patent mastery. The fight doesn't end. It finds new battlefields. Know the land, the law, your people, and you can win. I'm proof. Thanks for joining HOA Stories, where HOAs finally get checked. Like, comment your favorite part, subscribe for more showdowns.